I ask this question to everyone, and this is a question to you guys. So before we start, how many of you are here with an expectation to hear something from God? Here we go. And they came to Jericho, and as he went out of Jericho with his disciples, a great number of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging. And when he heard that Jesus of Nazareth was passing by, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And many charged him that he should hold his peace. But he cried the more a great deal, Thou son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. And they called the blind man, saying to him, Be of good comfort, rise, he calleth thee. And he cast away his garment, rose, and came to Jesus. And Jesus answered and said unto him, What wilt thou I should do unto thee? The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I might receive my sight. And Jesus said unto him, Go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way. Wow, what a beautiful scripture. For those of you who thought that was a little bit of a very strong English, I'm going to summarize that for you. There's this blind man called Bartimaeus. By the way, if you see there in the 46th verse, it says, blind man called Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus. So in Greek, this name Bartimaeus translates to Bar, which means son of Timaeus. And it is mentioned in the verse that he is the son of Timaeus, but there's one thing that isn't mentioned. The word Timaeus. Anyone know the meaning of the word Timaeus? The word Timaeus stands for honor. This guy was called the son of honor. And look where he is. The son of honor, sitting by the roadside begging. The son of honor, the title that he was carrying all through his life. The son of honor, sitting by the roadside begging. How many of the times life does that to us? However talented we may be, it brings us down to a place where we feel that we are all alone, where we feel that we are lost. The son of honor sitting by the roadside. You know, this guy, he was blind. He was blind, but he could speak, he could hear well. You know, sometimes when we are handicapped, and when we don't have something with us, we tend to make so many excuses. There was this one person, you know, he used to tell me, when we used to be at Millennium Gardens, when we used to be at Youth Alive at Millennium Gardens, I cannot make it to Youth Alive I can't make it to Youth Alive Saturdays because I don't have transport. This guy used to stay at Diamond Point. He used to say, I don't have transport. I can't come to Youth Alive Saturdays. You know that one thing that was missing out was the transport, but that stopped him from taking any other mode of transport and coming to Youth Alive. He could have picked a ride from someone. He could have asked someone to drop him. He could have even taken a bus and come down there. But that one disability, one thing that was missing out of his life, caused him to immediately stop everything that was going on. But this guy being blind, he did not stop that disability to hear the good news. And the good news was that Jesus was walking down that place. Jesus was walking down that place. He did not stop his disability of not being able to see that did not stop him from hearing the good news. This is my request to you. If there is some part of your life where you feel that you're lacking, don't equate your whole life to just that one part. Don't equate your whole life just because one part of your life went bad. Just because one part of your life was in the dumps doesn't mean your whole life is a dump. Jasper was talking about this friend of ours who gave up his life. Now this guy, he was an amazing guy. He did so many things for he used to have these drives where he used to feed all these people on the roads. He used to just randomly go and have feed people on the road, just give all these homeless people food whenever he goes out. He blessed so many people all through his life. But there was this one point in his life where he fell low. And at that point, all that came to his mind was, this point is my whole life. My request to you today is, do not equate your whole life just because of that one moment. Do not equate your whole life. Do not consider that all your life was a waste just because in that one moment you feel like you're worth nothing. This man was blind. It doesn't mention how long he was blind, but he was blind. And that one moment was enough for him to know that there was hope. He grabbed onto that one moment of hope where he heard that there's this man called Jesus who's walking through, and this man is my only hope. You know what he does? He starts shouting. He says, Jesus, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. The desperation in his voice might have been so much. This guy was blind, named the Son of Honor, put on a roadside to beg. The desperation in his voice must have been so much that even though this crowd comes up to him and says, shut up, you're disturbing him, keep quiet. It literally says that the crowd rebukes him. The crowd rebukes him. The crowd says, stop shouting. You're just disturbing. You're just a nuisance. But he knew in his heart that if Jesus were to take that turn and go away, he was going to miss out on that one hope that could change his life. He was going to miss out on that one hope that could change his life. Sometimes we tend to not see our miracle because we are not desperate enough for it. We are not desperate enough for it. We tend to shut ourselves off just because we see something blocking it. We see some obstacle come in front, and then we are like, okay, that's not God's will. Okay, it's not going to happen. Worst case scenario, you pray for something, you're asking for something, and then there's a block that comes your way. I don't believe in God anymore. And this is a true case scenario. There are so many people who have given up on faith just because they weren't desperate enough to hold on for the answer. But look at this guy's desperation. He shouts, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. And even if the crowd, they're stopping him, they're trying to silence him, but still, you know what he does? He's not like, okay, I'm sorry. sorry. Okay, I'll keep shouting. I won't talk loud. I'm sorry. He doesn't do that. If I were in his position, I might have. But this guy was so desperate, that even after this, he starts shouting even louder. He said, Jesus, have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. You know what that did? The fact that he shouted even louder, that stopped Jesus in his place. Jesus had a plan of going through Jericho. So he was on his way to some place. He was on his way. He made his plan that he was going to walk through and go somewhere. But this man's desperation stopped God in his place. Stopped Jesus in his place. He stopped doing everything that he was doing at that moment just to focus on this one guy. That is what your desperation does. The moment you cry out, God, I need you, Jesus stops everything that is going on and comes right for you. You know this song, Reckless Love? It says, no shadow you won't light up, no mountain you won't climb up coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, no lie you won't tear down coming after me. That's not a lie, or that's not just a song that we sing, guys. That's something that we actually mean, and that's something that's actually true. Because the desperation of Bartimaeus caused Jesus to stop in his place, to stop walking forward, to stop everything that he was doing just to see this guy. Just to see this guy. And you know what happened then? It says in verse 49, Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. You see the beauty in this verse over here. He stood still and commanded him to be called. He stood still and commanded him to be called. Who is he commanding? He's commanding the people who were stopping him, the people who were rebuking him, the people who were telling him to shut up, the people who might have told him, just move out of this place, you're worthless, the people who were bringing him down, the people who were telling him, you are not worth God coming to you. The very same people, Jesus commanded them to call him. Jesus commanded the exact same people who were stopping him from reaching Jesus to actually bring him to Jesus. The very same people that were being that block became the door that led him to Jesus. The very same thing that was an obstacle for this guy became that way that led him to Jesus. I don't know how many of you all here have something that's blocking your prayer, your expectation, that's blocking your relationship with God. But let me tell you, we serve a God who not only can break through walls, can break through obstacles, but can use those very obstacles for you. He can use those very things that are blocking you for you. Just like he did for this guy. Just like he did for this guy. The very same people that were shutting him away, the very same people that were keeping him away and telling, no, you're not going to go there. He commanded them to call him. And it's so amazing that they say to him right after the command has been given, be of good comfort, rise. Be of good comfort. Imagine your enemies coming and telling you, be of good comfort. Imagine the very problem that was staring you right in your face, telling you, be of good comfort. The very thing that was blocking you and telling you you are worthless, that itself is cheering you up. Can you imagine that kind of a scene? Can you ever imagine that the very thing that is in front of you, causing you to feel low, to feel depressed, to feel that you're worth nothing, that exact thing tells you, cheer up, man. Cheer up. The very thing that is pushing you down is asking you, get up. That only happens when Jesus sends out a command. When Jesus sends out a command. And most of you all here, all of us here, can we wait for that command and not just look at what is blocking us and stay down? Can we wait for that command? You know, in Jeremiah 29:11 it says, I have plans to prosper you. For I know the plans I have for you. I have plans to prosper you. And there's this other verse that says in Isaiah 54 verse 17, it says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. You see the connection between these two verses? Although they are two different books, right after the other, one after the other, Isaiah, Jeremiah. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. He says that in Isaiah. And when he comes to Jeremiah, he says, I have plans to prosper you. If no weapon that is formed against us is going to prosper, then the very same weapon is going to be a part that a part of our story that is going to help us prosper. The very same weapon that will not prosper against us will be the part of our story for us to prosper. He'll use everything that comes against you for you, because that's His promise. That's His promise. His promise is that He has plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. It doesn't end right there. He gives you a future. It's never the end, because He has promised that He has plans to give you a future. You never have a future if you decide to end it right there. If you decide to put a full stop right there, how can you have a future? This guy knew that man who's walking by, he is my hope. He is my hope. He is the one who can give me a future. I have been thrown apart on the inside. Every part of me is broken. But He is the only one who can give me a hope and a future. This guy just stands up as he's called. He just stands up. He jumps up, actually. He doesn't stand up, he jumps up. You know what jumping means? Ernest explained in my introduction that I jump a lot like a monkey. Jumping means that you're excited, that you can't wait. I learned to jump right from Rachel over here. Right in my first ever youth alive that I was singing on team. Rachel comes to me and he's like, "It's okay, Balu. You can express yourself on stage. You can express yourself. It doesn't matter who is watching. It doesn't matter what they think. You can express yourself how you want to." And then I saw her jump. I was like, that is an amazing way to express yourself on stage. And then I started jumping. And the joy that I get while jumping, I don't jump just because, okay, it's a fun song, nice set life song happening, and okay, the music is all pumpy and you need to groove with that. That's not the reason why. I jump because He has put so much of happiness inside of me. I need to take it out. And I can't stand still and clap my hand and be like, okay, Jesus, thank you so much for the joy that you have in my heart. I need to do something. I need to get it out. And I get it out by jumping. The moment that this guy heard the master calling him out, his heart was full of joy. Imagine the hope that he was going to cling on to, the hope that he knew was going to rescue him, is calling out to him. Imagine the joy, the excitement that is filled in his heart. Imagine all those years of begging, all those years of people telling him, you are called the son of honor and you are on the road begging. Son of honor on the road begging? What honor is there in this? That person gets hope. The excitement that is filled inside of him, that's what caused him to jump up. His hope called back at him. When he called to his hope called back to him. That made him jump up. He left his cloak and he went to Jesus. Now again, the very people who were stopping him, those are the people who led him to Jesus. The very people that were stopping him led him to Jesus. And then it comes to the verse 51. It says, Jesus asked him, what can I do for you? Now that's a silly question, right? Right? He's blind. And, Jesus comes and asks, what can I do for you? This dude must have been, probably, hypothetically, in his mind, in some parallel universe. Blind dude comes up in front of Jesus and Jesus asks, okay, bro, what do you want? What can I do for you? And this is like, bro, this is obvious. But there's something that I got to learn even from that question that Jesus asked. There's something that I learned from that question that Jesus asked. We're so quick to judge people. We're so quick to judge people and tell them what we think they need. We're so quick to tell people, hey bro, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to study well. You're losing your marks. You need to study well. Hey bro, this is not happening, man. You're just making it an insulting thing in front of us. We're so quick to judge and think that we know exactly what to tell them. But inside their heart, we never know what's happening. We never know what is the exact thing that they need. The person who's failing in his studies, and you go up to them and tell them, bro, this is not happening. You're such a failure. You need to study well. You never know. His father might have passed away. What he needs is a word of comfort. But what you're giving him is a word of rebuke. We're so quick to exactly know in our holy Christian minds that I know what that guy needs, and I know, and I have to tell them. Jesus being the Son of God, maker of all things, the all-knowing God, if he could take a moment to ask this guy, although it was obvious, he still took that moment to know from him what he actually needed. Because sometimes what we want might not actually be what we need. Sometimes what we want might not actually be what we need. You know, for me, I have a sore throat right now. And I want a cool, chill bottle of Thumbs Up. That is what I want. But if I were to take that, would happen. My throat would get choked up, blocked. Because although I want that chill cool drink, that's not what I need. I need something warm to soothe my throat. We need to sometimes keep our advice aside and listen to a person, what they actually need. Thanks, Ernest. We need to see what they actually need. And how do we find that out? It's by talking to them. Jesus never told us, judge one another. For if you judge each other, you will be peaceful. There was never a commandment like that written in the Bible. There was never a commandment telling, go advise someone, tell them what they have to hear, and you will be happy. There was never a commandment like that. All he came to do is to be that comforter. He's here to listen to you. He's here to listen to you. He's here for you to pour out your heart, so that when he's giving it to you, he's not just addressing what you need, but even you know that you need it. Because we fail to realize sometimes what we need. We fail to see that we actually need it. But when he gives it to us, we actually see that we need it. You know, it says that he immediately received his sight when Jesus said, go thy way, your faith has healed you. Your faith has healed you. He received his sight immediately. And I love this part. I love this part. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way. Can we have that on? Can we have that on? The verse. Okay, that last line. Can we read that last line together, everybody? Everybody over here in the loud voice, okay? Here we go. And followed Jesus in the way. One more time. Followed Jesus in the way. One more time. Followed Jesus in the way. One more time. Come on. Follow Jesus in the way. He was sitting at the roadside when we began this scripture. And now he's following Jesus in the way. You see what happened? He was sitting on the roadside when we began, and now he's following Jesus on the way. Okay, let me show you this. I want one volunteer. Anyone volunteer? Okay. Anyone ready to? My boy Johnny, come. Okay. So now we're going to look at this. For this illustration's sake, Jonathan is Bartimaeus. He looks pretty convincing. Jonathan is Bartimaeus. It starts off with him sitting by the side of the road, and it ends with him walking along the way. Okay, we're going to see that one more time. It's a light bulb moment, okay? You need to see this. He starts off sitting by the roadside. He starts off sitting by the roadside and ends up walking along the way. What changed? He starts off sitting by the roadside and he ends up walking along the way. What changed? Okay, one last time. I'm sorry, Jonathan. You're very convincing. Here we go. He starts off sitting by the roadside and ends up walking along the way. What changed? Thank you. What changed? His position changed. He was sitting. He was still. His life till that point was still. He had nothing. He had nothing. He had nothing. He was still the son of honor. Still. The son of honor. Put to shame. Still. But then that one command changed that still life into a moving one. That one command from God, from Jesus, changed that still life into a moving one. He started off, okay, watch this. He started off still plus alone. He ended up moving with Jesus. He started off still but alone, but he ended up moving with Jesus. He started off still and alone, and he ended up moving with Jesus. That is the God that we possess. That is the God that we have. That is the God that we serve. That He picks us up. He picks us up. He breathes life into something that was dead, and He brings it along the way. And the beautiful part is, if you notice, when I was leading Jonathan, Jonathan was not in front of me. I was in front of Jonathan. Jonathan wasn't in front of me. He was not in front of me. Bartimaeus wasn't in front of Jesus. He followed Jesus. He followed Jesus. Because from that point onwards, he knew the way. And he followed the way. Can we have that verse again? He followed the way in the way. He knew the way and he followed the way in the way. He followed the way in his way. By now, you must have seen the title, sermon title already. Let go of your cloak. We're going to keep it on this verse again. We're going to stick here. We're not going to go to the title now. But this is one verse that I intentionally left out because I wanted to end with that. That was my conclusion. This verse says, when Jesus commanded him to be called, in verse 50, he, casting away his garment, rose. Verse 50, he, casting away his garment, rose. You know that casting away his garment played such a big role in his revival. You know why? Backstory. When Jesus is passing by this road, he's passing at the time of Passover time. Okay, it's a Passover time. Wow. He's passing at a Passover time. And that point of time, usually there's a lot of crowd. Okay? There's a lot of crowd that moves along the city. There's a lot of crowd. And where there is a crowd, that is gold, especially for a beggar. That is gold. You have beggars choosing. They are very strategic, okay? They're not just going to go and sit at a place that's empty. They're going to go and sit at places where there's a lot of crowd so that they get the most money from them. So this guy was sitting there in that particular place because there was a huge crowd that was passing by with Jesus. And before Jesus came, you know, maybe so many people might have come and given him money. Right? So many people might have come and given him money. In those times, these beggars, what they used to do is they used to take the cloak, the shawl, the garment that they were having. You know, they used to have this cloak kind of a thing. They used to spread it in front of them. They used to spread it in front of them. And whoever wanted to give them something, give them alms, they used to put the money on the cloak, on that garment, on that piece of shawl, on that cloth. They used to put that money in front of them. And at the end of the day, they used to collect the cloak like that, wrap it up, and take it home. That's how the earning was made. They used to wrap up that cloak like that. All the money in it, they used to just bundle it up and take it home. That's how they made their earning. Now this guy might have earned a lot. He might have earned a lot on that day, on that single day. This is like salary day for him. A salary day. The most that he could have earned, he must have earned on that day. But see what he does. When Jesus called him, he cast his garment away. He threw that cloak. Because the life that he was living till then was defined by that cloak. The life that he was living, the person of existence that he was all defined by that cloak. And when he got up to go after Jesus, his decision was that I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of what is defining me right now. What is defining me right now? Because what is defining me right now is not the truth. I have a hope. And in a few seconds, this thing is not going to define me. This thing that is in front of me is not going to define me. I'm not going to step in the next few seconds with what was holding me back. What was holding me back, I'm not going to step into my new future, my prosperous future, with what was holding me back. I'm going to leave it and walk into my new future. I'm going to leave it and walk into my new blessing. I'm going to leave it and walk towards my hope. Apart from being desperate, apart from knowing that his hope was right there, this man also knew that he needs to let go of his past. We might be desperate. We might know that our hope is in Jesus. But we might also be clinging on to what was in their past. Because it's so difficult to let go. It's so difficult to let go. It's so difficult. Especially for him at that point of time, the highest that he has earned, he has to let go of all of that. But he let go. And when he let go, he walked into his miracle. The title of my message today is Leave Your Cloak. I don't know how many of us over here are still holding on to something from your past. If you feel that God is distant from you at this moment, if you feel that you can't feel His presence like you used to before, you need to check yourself. You need to examine your life. You need to see whether you're desperate enough. You need to see whether you actually have the faith that He's going to heal you or He's going to move in your life. And thirdly, you need to let go of what is in your past. Because entering your new blessing comes with leaving your past behind. And we see that this man who was still and alone started walking in the way when he left what defined him behind. His new definition became a follower of Jesus. His new definition became a follower of Jesus. He was newborn. He was born again. He received his miracle. Something that he wanted, something that he needed. You know, sometimes we tend to hold on to things just because we're too afraid to let go. We're too afraid of the consequences if we let go. Sometimes we are too afraid to even approach Jesus and tell him, Jesus, I did this. This is how I sinned. You know, fun fact, He's an all-knowing God. So if you ever come to Him and tell Him, Jesus, I did this, and you're like, oh sure, that's never going to be the response from Him. He's never going to say like, I didn't expect that. He knows you. He knows you. He knows every single being of you. He knows every single part of you. And nothing you do will ever keep you away from His love. I'm going to call the worship team on stage right now. Even as they come on stage, can I ask you all of us over here, to just close our eyes, and even the ones who are watching online, if you could just close your eyes for a minute. We started off by laying down an expectation of what we wanted to hear. We started off by laying down an expectation of what you want to hear. But at this moment, can I ask you to look at yourself? I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And I want you to ask yourself this. You don't need to tell it out loud. You don't need to shout it out and say the answer. But I want to ask you these 3 questions. Question number 1. Are you desperate enough for Him? Are you desperate enough for Him? Question number 2. Do you actually know that He is your hope? Do you actually realize that He is your hope? Do you actually know that He can do it? Do you actually believe? And the last question. Are you willing to let go? Are you willing to let go? Are you willing to let go of that hurt inside of you? Are you willing to let go of that addiction that's inside of you? Are you willing to let go of that relationship that's keeping you down? Are you willing to let go of that tag that people have labeled you with and move ahead? Are you willing to let go? You know, with our eyes closed, heads bowed, can I ask you to stand wherever you are? And I want to try this something out, okay? I want to try something out. You know, when we speak in faith, it can move mountains. So today, can we do that? Can we just speak in faith over our lives? Can we speak in faith over our lives? We're going to go back to those 3 questions one more time. We're going to go back to those 3 questions. But I want you to speak in faith, even if it is difficult for you to believe. I want you to speak in faith. Are you desperate enough? Speak in faith over yourself that you are, that you will be. Do you believe? Come on, in faith. Tell that over yourself, that I will. And above all, can you let go? Tell that to yourself, that I will. This is a moment that is between you and God. No one's going to come in between you and God right now. It's all you and God. It's fine. If it's okay, can we just turn the house lights down? Everyone with their eyes still closed, heads still bowed. This is a moment between you and God. There's no distraction coming your way. No distraction coming your way. Your hope is walking in front of you. If you are desperate enough to show Him that you need Him, now is your moment. If you are desperate enough to move into your miracle, now is your moment. If you're desperate enough that you want to let go everything and walk with Him in the way, now is your moment. Now is your moment.